we're going to work out B of T and N of T together. Hopefully you can do T of T at this point on your own. And be working on that, and we will do it together in a second. My phone just started randomly recording me. What the fuck? That's creepy.
Oh, that was funny. Their son, yeah. So I was like, if they would adopt me, so we could hang out all the time. And that's pretty wholesome.
What's chapter 13 on? Is that 13's on partial derivatives? Fuck yeah, that's the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think I was doing it. I was doing an integral or something, and someone just said, "I'll just do partial derivative," and I'm like, "Bro, we weren't even on that section yet."
Oh yeah, partial derivatives and like double, triple integrals. All those.
Multiple integrals is chapter 14. Partial derivatives is 13. We gotta cover shit like the gradient and stuff like that before we can start doing integration.
Yeah.
The gradient, the Laplacian.
Oh man, that takes me back.
You know, I've used some of the math people in history for D&D characters.
Say it again. Huh? Yeah.
You just feel your all right, man. Huh?
Oh yeah, we could do that. Okay, who just said that? Whoever said that can just stop. It's a dumb joke and we all know it.
Oh yeah. This is stupid.
Just as a reminder. I can't do warm-up problems in lower classes like stats and shit like that. They'll just sit there and look at me blankly. They won't even fucking do it.
I think the class is trying to boycott you.
Well, they could boycott me all they want. I already got my degree. I'm not here to work for. I'm here to make money. You guys are here to learn how to get the skills that get the skills and the resume for a good job.
I've heard that like even if you're not going to use math,
if you're lucky, you'll have a job like mine.
You're learning pretty good.
I get to tell stupid jokes. I get to torture people. I get to make good money.
And you get summers off.
I not only get summers off, there's a good winter break too.
Sure.
What's that?
Yeah, if you choose teaching, do not choose elementary or high school. You definitely want to go professor.
For sure. Yeah, if there's one type of teacher that I definitely respect, it's middle school teachers. They deal with the worst of the worst of the kids who just have no concept and midst of puberty. I have a lot of respect for middle school.
No,
because it's
sign out
because like
What's our prime?
numbers.
Let's see who fucked this up.
I'm Jason, switch, R prime is R prime.
Who didn't do the product rule? Is probably a better question.
Was there a first?
It's kind of
Well,
forget,
signs are quick.
because
The signs
you
are
just take-
I never get one of the food for a while, I feel.
Yeah, because I'm retarded on that, but sign it, yes, they can put us down.
Trying to do it, and then I was doing that one. And they can always look it up.
Hopefully you got that. You might have done it in a different order and within these. I've never understood why they teach the product rule of that as FG prime plus F prime G. That is back-asswards to me. Go fucking left to right. Because this expands. Like if you do, where's my, oh, right here. If you have like FGHK prime like that, you can just literally go along in order. And it makes it easy to keep track of. You're just constantly shifting the prime left one. They do it, they teach it some back-ass order. It's fucking stupid. I mean, you can have as many as you want and you just shift the product.
Right,
It's easy to remember. That's what I need to do. That sounds like a bonus.
Our Calc 1 teacher taught us that, right? And we all took Calc 1 with the same person.
I mean,
I
had.
I bet. Oh, did Mr. Blakely teach it this way? Please tell me he does. Please tell me he does G prime first, because I want to make fun of him.
You sound like you just found this.
There's a reason for it, but it's not a good reason. In fact, it was such a bad reason. I don't remember what it was, but there is a reason why they teach the G prime first. It's not good.
Okay.
Then I'm probably glad that I learned it from an AP calc class instead. Took Calc 1 as kind of a side thing, more like review. It's good review.
Who is gonna mess this up too?
Ooh.
Easy.
I love how you assume immediately.
Probably
So I'm
me.
going to, you know.
Epic, man. Epic rap battle, dude.
Oh, no.
Whoa, calm down.
Jones, when are they gonna have a rap battle with Mr. Blakely?
A rap battle? I'm not gonna have a rap battle.
My math rap battle.
I actually like and respect Mr. Blakely a lot. I just like giving him shit because his son's in the class.
I respect.
What was it on? I forget.
We recorded that Mr. Jones. It was insane.
So do not do what one of our calc students did on this test. Do not distribute a square by just doing sine squared and cosine squared here. We do have a third component.
I love doing that. Yeah.
And then when we do this one, we've got, we get another cosine squared t. We get another sine squared t. And we get a minus q squared t.
All we can do is give me that.
Those conspiracy. Call me a pussy. Yes. What?
That's his that's
So, I'm saying is I'm dying.
Aims for abominable. Is for see it happen, right? At his first time chance. Yeah.
No.
Did you guys get that for the tangent vector? You might have had the square root of 2 inside the vector, but
Yeah.
Wait, what a minute, what a minute.
What do you do?
I think I did pretty wrong.
Before the, right, it's.
Oh, that's no word.
You know, what's that?
No. Yeah. I wish you.
I forgot that there was a negative 2 for second sign. So everybody was asking.
Same answer.
what?
Yeah, same answer.
Got the same answer, good. Does anybody need this derivation of tangent up still? Because we still need to do normal and binomial.
Yes.
But if
You said,
I can erase this giant ass radical,
you've taken a picture of it.
okay.
It's a little bit.
You're good, do whatever you need to.
Now, if I wasn't using a big old marker where the pen is wide, I could have done that radical right there all on one line and I would have. But as it is, I just stacked them.
Thank you. I have some, I don't see the counters with their instruction.
All right, let's take a look at the normal vector.
It's in the corner over there by the door. Take the shot. Go for the 3-pointer.
I mean, 2 out of 4. Oh, wait. 1 out of 2, yeah.
You look like you're gonna fall when you're done. Huh? You look like you're gonna fall when you're done.
That's what this class is for.
Judging you on every peak quality you have, especially when they're bad qualities.
According to the chart,
Where's the
fast
one
chart,
we
attached with the cover 12.7, right?
Oh, this
Well,
class?
let me get those people.
What about 12.7? Are you covering 12.7?
We're gonna do it after, I think I've got it scheduled for like after the final. It is not a necessary topic for the class. I'd rather teach you the material that's the mathematics. It is a great application. Kepler's laws, I believe, is 12.7. Very fascinating stuff, but like we need to get through the shit in chapter 15, and the way I make sure of doing that is to teach some of the irrelevant shit afterwards. Not irrelevant, but you know what I mean.
That guy, whoever made the laws is going in great right now. That's relevant.
My life's work.
I'll take on.
I'm sure.
Might as well share that. There's no way. Really, I'm doing- That's how I'm gonna-
We'll do it after the final.
That's-
What's his name?
Jason.
Another
Oh, the
person.
name is the other guy. It's Howard.
What would happen?
No, he's not gonna do that. He's 83 now.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
Not gonna be what?
Oh my God.
Oh,
Look at
Driver.
that.
You didn't make that word.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
convenient.
Okay.
like about that guy.
Got
Holy shit. The tangent vector is already, the derivative is a magnitude of 1. It's already a unit vector. How cool is that?
It's a trip. Yeah.
I'd say that's why that's what makes finding the TNB and search function so great.
Yeah, my high
We're just gonna do
school.
On
That is- that's worse. I literally, every question that we had.
That's besides.
And finding some simple gas numbers, just coming back.
There you go.
And then it's like.
That literally changed. You wrote down the wrong thing.
What did I write down? You're right, I did. Look at that. Scrub. Thank you.
No.
What did I write down? Now I'm getting confused again.
I think you
I need the
down
T
C.
prime.
Oh, right. You wrote down C of T and T prime.
Like as soon as I erased it, I forgot what I wrote the first fucking time. I was gonna make the same mistake again.
Oh my gosh.
That's some quality instruction right there.
You've been watching too many TikToks.
All right, so I hope you guys got that.
Yeah, that sounds positive.
So I can tell right away. Can anyone tell me without doing the cross product where the B vector has to lie?
K hat.
It's got to be in K hat. It's got to be in K hat. T and N both lie in the XY plane, and so the thing that's an orthogonal to the XY plane is the Z vector, or going along Z. So it's got to be in the K hat. I already know it that by just
Yeah,
by
I
seeing these two zeros right here. So let's try to make this look with helpful to bring that down a little bit.
It's called finding an advantage.
But you'll see that as soon as you start doing the and I got a root 2 outside from that one. No, it's 1 over root 2. Maybe I'll put it in there. Jesus, this takes up a lot of room.
Wait, why'd you go back there?
Because it's T cross N.
Oh, T cross.
What are B called?
I was doing it.
What's the binomial?
The eyes of God.
So is that called binomial?
Yes, it's a Z.
Okay, topic is it back going on back there? Did you guys get
That's what
another
we're
one?
doing.
Where did?
What is this AI generated?
So I got a 1/2. Jesus, this is gonna get ugly.
That's a nasty cross product.
If I take out the negative, let's take the negative out and make this a plus right there. I can see that this is the same again. And these are the same. We're getting the fucking same thing again. The same thing as the radicals. This is gonna be, leave us as sine squared t plus cosine squared t. And then we're gonna have the plus 2 sine, I'm gonna write that over here, plus 2 sine t cosine t is also from this direction right there. And then when we do this one, we're gonna do minus.
Oh my God.
Oh, this changes it. This actually changes that, having that be a minus. Nope, because this is my minus is there. These are all negative. That's negative and that's negative. And then I've got minus this one. And this one will be minus a cosine squared t and minus a sine squared t. That should have a -2 from the first half.
If we had left the 1/√2 outside of the cross product, how do we know that that becomes 1/2?
What?
If we
How
had
can
just
you
left that
leave it out? It's
like-
properties of linear algebra. You'll learn about it in Math 80.
No, I'm saying is if you had left it out, it would just look like 1/√2 times all of that.
No, what they do?
So how would you?
There is a very,
It'd be 1/√2. I'd have a 1/√2 and from both of them. And I'd have a 1/2 outside. And I could
essentially,
get rid of the √2s.
essentially when you take it out, it only takes it out from one row.
Yeah, it takes it out of only one row.
So don't do that.
Good question. You will learn all those fun things in Math. I think it's 80, isn't that linear?
That is linear. But then the SI and differential just taught me how to do that.
I am
Like-
looking at, is anyone else getting 0, 0, -1?
Yeah.
I knew it had to be plus or -1. Because the v vector is a normal vector. It's got to have a magnitude of 1. And with only a k component, it has to be 1 or -1. And I'm seeing we get this makes a -1. This makes a -1. So there's -2, but we've got a 1/2. -2 times 1/2 is -1. That's our b of t. How was that for fun? Wow, they don't have very many problems in 12.4. Almost every single one is sine or cosine or e.
Wait, you want
really
hyperbolic tangents?
not fun.
Don't start it.
When you go, keep going further, especially when you just don't have trig functions. I mean, it's good practice to have.
I am not going to give you hyperbolic functions on the exam because how often do we use them in real life? I think we've tortured you enough with the hyperbolic derivatives in one, Calc 2.
I haven't dealt in hyperbolic.
I will write down the next thing we'll look at while you do it.
Yeah.
Like, what was the formula in that?
They're like some obscure applications that got kind of weird.
Yeah, must have like B, you could like rewrite them as like e to negative t, you might have like e to the t or something over 2 or something. I have it somewhere in my computer.
Yeah.
Does anyone need that up longer?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see some people
I
still
know
glancing.
it's
at it now.
maybe that if you have like some type of like hyperbolic shape in your, what you're trying to do, you can't use regular trick. You gotta use the- That's probably wrong.
I work that. I have work that.
So, can we do like a recap of what these are again?
Yeah.
Like what is the binormal, like what is the other, what is the other? Like kind of like.
Yeah,
like-
T is the tangent vector along the curve. N is the normal vector, it points inward along the curve. And the binormal vector is the orthogonal vector to both the tangent and all. It kind of, it represents,
Binormal vector Points like from the center kind of outward, or where's it?
so if you're driving down a road and you're curving left and you're on flat ground, the desire to go forward, like how your body leans to the right, it keeps wanting to go forward. That's the tangential vector. The normal vector is pointing straight left because you're curving inward. The binormal vector would be straight up. It's a tendency like to twist a little. You don't feel it because when you're driving a car, because you don't have enough forces going on. But it's like twisting upward out of the plane that it's in. It's a little hard to describe physically what's going on. We will see it when we're doing
Like this.
the curl. The curl shows up. We're going to be doing that in chapter 15. It's about the cross product.
Opposite of the-
Well, no. I just imagine B's going in and out of the page, really. It's or they're all, they're both orthogonal B's. Then you're crossing them.
Oh, so N and T are always on the same plane.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense since you're too long.
They have to, they make their own plane is a
Right,
better
yeah.
way of saying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's what it's really like.
Let's give that one again. Let's see how far we can get with getting T, N, and B. This is we've seen enough of these with cosine and sine. Let's just do it with the general characters or variables, letters, constant.
That's A cosine T or R?
So if you
That's
want,
an
if you want
A.
to do it, in like, instead of time, it like do the distance, you'd ask for like, what is N of S? Or what is? T of
Yes,
S?
I would specify S. And I'm trying to make sure I specify T as well. Because we do have two parameters we use.
But then for D, so you just take it like only a couple steps to find what T is in terms of D and then go from there.
I don't understand what your question is.
What
What D?
how far do you go into like the steps to find that in terms of D? I mean, S.
As far as you need to for whatever you're working on. Like if you watch the videos, I point out like if you only need to know the information at one point, you can stop the process of calculating everything a lot earlier. But if you're
Yeah,
gonna need it for general
I didn't
points
quite
along the
understand what
curve.
you meant by that. That's why I was wondering. I didn't quite understand that part. Like, how
Okay.
you just you stop
The-
and stuff.
If I only need it here, I can stop once I have T prime. I don't need the magnitude of T prime in general form. What I really need is the magnitude of T prime at this T naught right here. Because the normal, this is what the when I need n of 0 or n of T naught, I can calculate that using T prime of T naught over magnitude of T prime of T naught. I don't need the general form of n to calculate it. I just need the equation for T prime. And the same thing with B. B of T naught is T of T naught cross n of T naught. Well, if I can get n of T naught here by stopping at this derivative right here, and I can get T of T naught from the previous step in this, there's no need to calculate a general form of B. But that's only if I need it at one point. If you need it for more than one point, this is a lot of work to do repeatedly for a bunch of them. It's better off to do the general form and just plug in values for the T naughts.
So the question will say something like, find T prime of T at T naught. And if it doesn't say that, then it'll be in general.
Right.
Okay. And then it's similar with the distance, right?
Yes, same thing with the distance. And it might specify both. It might say find a general form, then evaluate it at T naught. And then they want you to do both.
Yeah. And I look at it, here's.
Maybe. And that's the magnitude of R prime of T, and that looks like square root of a squared plus c squared, which is a constant. Let's see, did I do everything right before I look like a jackass? That looks good, that looks good, that looks good. We square negative a sine t, we get a squared sine squared t. We square a cosine t, we get a squared cosine squared t. And we square c and we get c squared. Sine squared plus cosine squared goes to 1. And we got a squared plus c squared, they're constants. That does not equal a plus c. Don't do some stupid shit like that. So we just gotta leave it as is. Then we'll take a look at the normal vector, which means we need the derivative of t.
All in one.
Been done right now.
Really going through it
Watch
right
out,
now.
there's a shoe there.
And this should just give me a squared, right? In this radical. After I square negative cosine t and square negative sine t. So that's just a over a squared plus c squared, square root. This will be absolute value of a because we don't know if a was positive or negative in the beginning, but the outcome is definitely going to be positive. That's an easy thing to miss, those absolute values. And I again missed writing the goddamn last 2 bars here. Keep doing that. So what's the normal vector look like here? We're gonna have this divided by this. The square roots go away. We got what, 1 over absolute value of a? Oh, even better. Look what happens. I can factor out an a.
And you're gonna carry it.
A here. And take that out, take that out. And I've got a over the absolute value of a. It's whatever sign a is. This is just.
Why
Okay.
not factor out negative a?
Yeah, thinking about that too. The question is, so this can come up with 2 forms. If a is negative, this is positive. Positive 1. Like if a equals -2, this is -2 with another negative over 2, which ends up being positive 2. But if a is positive 2, this ends up being -2. So I don't know that I want to cancel. I was going to cancel out a and absolute value of a, but I can't really do that because the sign is dependent. But we could factor it out and leave it out there. Because that makes doing b a little bit easier.
How does that work? I thought absolute value of A is always going to be positive.
We don't know.
The value of a is always positive, but
Well,
a
until we know the actual value of a, we have to keep it as absolute value.
right. If
So that's
if
what
a is
makes
less than 0,
A over
Absolute
positive.
value shows that it will always be positive, but if we lose the absolute value, then we can never know what true value is. We can never find the true value of a.
Or just plug in. A is
the
negative
problem
5.
is the top isn't an absolute value.
We-
So
yeah,
like I can't just make this -1 because there are instances where this is positive. Like if a is less than 0, I have -5 over absolute value of -5. That's positive 5. So I can't just cross that out and leave a negative.
Yeah, we should simplify our question.
So it's dependent on the sign of a. So we should just leave that as is. And so what's b? B is t cross n.
Possible normal vector.
What?
That means that means we have 2 possible normal vectors.
No, it does not mean we only have 1 normal vector, but it depends on what the value of a is. You will have a fixed value of a when you're doing this problem from the beginning. And so whatever a sign is will dictate what the normal vector looks like. That's a great question. It does look like there's 2 versions, but no, in the beginning, you'll have a fixed. So let's see, T has got a 1 over a squared or root a squared plus c squared. We can pull that out, not do that in the cross product. We can pull out this negative a over absolute value of a. We'll pull that out. Those will be coefficients of whatever we get for the b vector. Pulling those out, we have negative a sine t, a cosine t, d.
Wait, didn't you say you were taking the A out?
Out of the n. I can't take it out of t because there's
Oh.
a c here. There's no a there.
Oh.
And this one will be cosine t and sine t and 0. And then I got I, j, k. So those are my coefficients. It makes an ugly little set. Let's see, for the I component, we have 0 minus c sine t.
So isn't that? How do we deal with that coefficient? Yeah, 'cause like, remember last time we pulled out, we didn't pull out that 1/√2 because it had been 1/2. Is that gonna make that 1/a² plus c squared? Or is,
He's asking how
You can
your-
multiply these together. This is going to be a negative a over the absolute value of a root a squared plus c squared. It's just an ugly ass coefficient.
is it gonna be 2 of those because you pulled that, or is it like you're pulling out?
Yeah,
each of
well,
the-
we only pulled it out of one.
one. There's only one of those that you're pulling out.
So
You're not
when
pulling
it-
out
for
the other
however
side.
many rows have it, you can pull it out, but only one row has the 1 over a squared plus c squared, and only one row has the negative a over the absolute value of a. So
Oh,
we
and
only
the other-
pull out one.
Both the rows had the 1/. Okay. I see.
Yeah, if they
Did you say-
both had it, we would pull them both out.
Log here.
Another good question. Let's see. 0 minus the cosine t. And what's our k component? K is gonna get a little bit uglier. I might need more room. Am I though?
No. Right here.
Plus negative a. I've got sine squared t plus cosine squared t, don't I?
Yeah, that's right. But you're not
So-
necessarily. Wait. You did this to me. Both are gonna be negative, take that negative out. Oh, I see it. Yeah, thank you. You know what? I honestly should.
No, don't do that, Josh. You need to exercise.
I will move this over there and I'll move that out. Okay. Just know to only put recycling. I don't know, is the tissue considered recyclable?
You know, I got a
No.
lot of negatives. I'm gonna take
I
this
didn't-
negative.
It's like a-
That is.
I gotta turn this. Oh,
I'm gonna take that negative.
Don't worry, I'm sure you're recyclable as well.
Like, if I would just come out.
He's got
Negative a is positive a.
Don't you? Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be C cosine?
Wouldn't it be what?
Oh, that's what's negative.
Get rid of the negative.
So are
So
you
I took the
counting?
negative out here and put it inside.
Oh, okay. So
Because this was negative c sine t, but there was a negative out here. It looks silly having 15 negatives all over the problem.
Okay.
I just cleaned
For
it up.
J, for J, did you forget the coefficient, like for C on the?
It's like one of the CC things.
There's c cosine, it just looks shitty.
Oh, okay.
It's there. There, that makes it a little bit better to see. And while I don't know that you would ever use these equations, it is a good exercise in keeping variables as, or keeping these A's and C's as constants and treating them in the general form. It will make doing any other problem easier in this type of category.
Makes sense.
If you have a code nine, she's
And it looks like it's 9 o'clock. We're doing Starbucks again on the weekend if anyone wants to come. 8 to 10, Saturday and Sunday. Next week, we'll do the 8 to 11 because it's the weekend before the test. But this weekend, you're SOL.
I'll be holding my regular SI hours tomorrow as well.
Have a good day.
You too, Mr. Jones. See you.
I'm just doing a bunch of dumb shit. Cause I'm dying, I'm sick. Really only sick. I have like, I have a little cold. No, but I mean like I'm Sunday.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We need you up left the list.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no, you meant like how much longer I have? No, I don't know.
What are you gonna do? Like hopefully only a day.
Have a good day.
What?
You too.
Oh, geez, I think the camera got stuck somewhere. Oh,